Let's learn how to prepare herbal tea. Hi, I'm Rosemary, and you're watching Season Living. Today, we're going to take two different types of herbal teas and learn how to properly pot them and steep them for the best tasting tea that we can get. So, first of all, we're going to discuss teapots. You have your basic ceramic bone china type teapot. Then we have a glass teapot that has an internal strainer because with loose leaf tea, you have to have something to strain out the pieces that are floating. So we can also use a tea ball, which we have two different sizes here. This would be more of a size that's to put in the pot, and this is a size that is for a single cup. Your other option that would go with this style teapot would be a tea strainer. It sits on top of the teacup, and as you pour your tea, it collects the tea leaves, and then you lift this up and set it back on this little rest. Now, when preparing the teapot first, you need to warm the pot. A lot of times what happens is people will, this is a teapot for an example, they'll just place their tea leaves in here or their tea bags, and they pour boiling hot water in here. And what happens is a process called crazing. And what it does is it shocks the porcelain so fast that it cracks the outer glaze of the teapot, which is not good for it. So what we want to do is warm our pots first with just tap water. So we're going to take you over there, and I'm going to do that next. We want to put the lid back on, and we're just going to let them sit for a couple of minutes. I'm going to be using an electric kettle to heat our water today, so let me turn that on now so it gets heated up. Now let's talk about the kind of teas that we're going to use here today. We're going to use this chamomile peppermint tea, which I purchased online. Then we have a mixture that we're going to do. These are lavender buds that are actually food safe. You can use them. They're non-GMO. They're organic. You can use them for baking or beverages or soups. So we have some lavender here. And here I have dandelion heads that I've collected from my own yard. We don't spray our yard with any kind of poisons. You want to make sure that if you're going to collect dandelion heads to make your own herbal tea, that there's no kind of chemicals added to your yard at all, because you don't want to be ingesting that. So it's during the summer, the early summer, when the dandelions are going crazy, just go around and collect them and dry them on like a cookie sheet and bag them up, or you can put them in a canning jar, put them in your cupboard, keep them in a dark place until the winter when you want that cup of dandelion tea. Dandelion tea has a lot of benefits for your body. So don't think of it as a weed anymore. Think of it as something that's good for you. All right, now that our pots have set long enough, we're going to just dump out the water. Now I'm just going to use a regular teaspoon. I'm not going to use a measuring spoon. And they usually say 1 teaspoon per person and 1 for the pot. So I'm going to put 3 teaspoons in here. Set that aside. And with these, I'm going to just do, with the dandelions, I'm just going to do 2 teaspoons of the dandelions. And I'm going to give you a close-up so you can see what they look like dried. They just kind of shrivel up. They have a little bit of yellow to them. So 1, 2, and with the lavender buds, I'm going to do just about a half of a teaspoon. So about like that. Can you see? Lavender can be a little on the strong once it's dried. So we'll place that in here. All right, the water is now ready to pour into the pots. So we'll start with our porcelain pot, and you just pour it right over the tea leaves. Now we're going to place the lids back on. All right, our timer is up, and what we're going to do is we're just going to remove the lid, and we're going to give it a very gentle stir, not much a lot. You're not going to be pushing the tea leaves against the inside of the pot, just enough to just bring up the leaves a little bit. We'll place our lid back on. So now we're going to take our little strainer and set it on top of our teacup. We'll hold the lid and we'll pour slowly. There may be some super fine pieces that get through, but they're not going to hurt you at all. And you just set it right back on its rest. And you can see that it's collected some of the leaves. And now you can add honey or sugar or whatever your sweetener of choice is, and enjoy a lovely cup. Now let's get to the other cup. Now we'll try our second pot that has the dandelion lavender tea in. We don't need to use a tea strainer for this one because it has the internal strainer. So we'll just pour this in. It's quite a light color. And then you can add honey or sugar or whatever the sweetener is of your choice. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode where we made up a couple pots of herbal tea. So until next time, enjoy your season.